Let's move on to the next topic, which is how to sell your flip. When it comes time to sell the flip, you want to find a really good realtor and somebody that's going to do a good job of selling the house for you. Now, what you don't want to do is call your friend John, who you went to high school with, who you know just happens to have his real estate license. That's the number one last worst possible option because there are a lot of people with their real estate license out there, and the majority of them are not real estate professionals, I would say. Most people that have their license do, maybe one or two sales a year. They do them for family and friends, but they work, they have another full-time job. That is not the person that you want selling your flip. They, a lot of times they might do an excellent job. So I don't want to generalize too much. But for the most part, what I personally look for when I want a realtor to list my flip, so that sell it for the highest possible amount, I want the most experienced and what I call the top producer realtor, which is going to be the realtor that does a lot of volume, meaning maybe $20 million a year. It depends on the market and the pricing of the houses in that market, because there might be a market where doing $5 million a year is like you're in the top 10 realtors if prices are low. Here on Maui, you got to be at least 20 million a year. I mean, if you're doing 20 million a year, that's less than 20 houses a year. So that's a lot, but it's not a whole lot of volume at today's prices. Again, as prices go up, that yearly volume amount needs to go up also. How do you find those realtors? Well, you can go online. There's a lot of different ways to find these things. You can just ask the realtor. If you're talking to one, you can just ask them, how much volume did you do last year? What are your stats? Are you in the top 100 of this in the state? What are your credentials? You can go to different websites like realestatebees.com, and you can search on here for realtors, and you can see what their credentials and their experience, and you can just ask them. You can Google. You can also search for your area. So I could search for top producing realtors in Maui, or a popular thing we have here in Hawaii is a we there's a publication that announces the top 100 realtors each year. So the realtors that do the most dollar volume. So I'll go to there and see which realtors are kind of in my market, my really local area. And I like using those top producing realtors because they've done this so many times that there's a reason why they do so much sales. So that's who I like to work with. The other advantage I think to working with one of them is that they do so many sales that the top, I would say there's probably 5% of all realtors that do 80 to 90% of the sales. Those realtors work with each other every single day. So they know, they already have those conversations and relationships in place. So when the buyer comes in to see your house and make an offer, chances are they're going to be represented by one of those 5%, top 5% realtors. And you want your realtor to already have a relationship with their realtor, because it's just going to make the process so much better. They're already going to know, like, all right, what do we got to do? Talk to me. Like, let's make this happen. What does your seller need? What does your buyer need? So I'm a big believer in that. Again, that's a pretty easy part of the deal. And that's how you sell your flip.